Switch Tuesday. MAV_K14 said, well, if it isn't a Dave Rife.
Hey, well, if it isn't there, actually it is. It is me. I'm pretty sure. Howdy, how's it going, man? And howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a woodturner. Getting a little bit of a late start tonight, so I got a couple things to still get put together. So I'll just leave everything streaming as I go, I suppose. And of course, while I'm wandering around, I'll have the excuse me, the microphone on. I just need to pick up.
MAV_K14 said, I'm a guy that likes to make a Dave Rife S stream saying weird things like poop, smiling pile of poo, and fart.
Hey, cool. Go for it. You forgot to say vomit, bathroom humor, and belly button. I don't know. Belly button's not so dirty, I guess. Don't, I guess it could be.
NAV_K14 said, vomit.
Where did I put everything? Oh my gosh. Alright, sorry about this.
NAV_K14 said, explosive diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea to green apple quick step. Make sure I have my glasses.
NAV_K14 said, how was your holiday season?
Not too shabby, man. Not too shabby. It's another holiday season that I was upright breathing and able to walk under my own power, and that ain't so bad, you know? That ain't so bad. I'm like a lot of other people here in Michigan. I'm tired of snow now. It's January. Winter should be over. Clearly it's not, but that's okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to show this. So I don't know. Let me... Currently on, hey, Mav K14, you are currently on a 3-stream streak. And that's my bad. You would be on a longer streak had I been able to stream last week. So sorry I'm messing up your mojo there, man. We got Mav. And that's it. Mav, you are the one. You're stuck with me. So, you know what? I want to put this on. There we go. I'm just having to put a little bit of abrasive on the surface of this. So, TC Schmo is not on at the moment, apparently, or at least not signed in to watch the broadcast this evening yet. So this was more, and Wiley Smiley Kylie, this is more aimed in their direction, I suppose.
Just one question about politics. What's wrong with you, Michigan?
You have to be a little more specific because there's a lot wrong. Which subject are you talking about? Because there's a lot going on here. Not to mention data centers that they're trying to put in all over, which, you know, I mean, we're talking pollution. We have hospital waste being dumped into the lakes here. We have all kinds of runoff, and the big deal is we can't put salt on the roads to clear the roads because that's bad. Salt is bad, right? And my question is, so a pipeline, an oil pipeline, that's okay. That's okay to run through the straits. Leaky old infrastructure from the oil companies, that's still okay. Hospital waste into the lakes, that's okay. But by golly, we can't put salt in the lake. We can't let that runoff go in there. And I'm thinking, what? So why is all this other stuff okay? It's not. But anyway, Michigan is, yeah, one of those things. All right, so this is my question. I turned this yesterday. It was fun. But anyway, if you're curious, just throwing it out there, if you have an idea what this might be,
NAV_K14 said, take
take
two,
two.
what's wrong with you, Michigan?
Was I not supposed to get political? I'm sorry. It kind of happened. Or maybe I didn't get political, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right, so I turned this yesterday in 3 parts, and when I post this on Instagram, I'll show all the different stages on the Instagram post. But this, and I'll give you a hint, maybe that will help you. So if you have any ideas, put them in chat. I know where it's going. I know right where that is going. Oh, no, don't you disappear, though, because we still need you. All right, so what I have here is not a pocket. I need a pocket.
NAV_K14 said, ball rattle.
Ah, man. Yes. Clearly, I didn't think it'd be that tough. This is for my buddy's cat, Ollie. I thought it would be cool because, like, I don't ever get Ollie presents. And I thought this would be just fun. I had a little, I don't know what they call those little jingle bell things, those little bells that go on horse collars and stuff for sleigh rides and whatever. People shake them, whatever. I guess we'll just call them a jingle bell. But I had one from a gift that I'd gotten some time ago. I held on to this bell for some reason. And then I stumbled across it and went, hey, that would go great in a cat toy. So I turned a cat toy. I thought it would be fun, and I was not wrong. But today, this down a little bit, we're working with these guys. So, I guess I could tell you that the project that I'm going to turn is actually a project kit that I got some time ago from, let's see, I guess it would be, it's PK, it's PSI Woodworking. As you do when you buy kits, you go to a place that sells them. Craft Supply, Woodturner's Catalog, PSI Woodworking, although that was a little bit more difficult.
NAV_K14 said, without the rattle, I would have guessed lathe bit.
A lathe, gotcha. Maybe I shouldn't have given the hint so soon then. Okay, so anyway, I got this kit, and I'm going to turn a grinder. But this kit does not call for any turned items. As you can see, it's all dimensional lumber sizes and all that stuff. And I thought, no, that's not going to work for me. I want to turn this stuff. So I had to make these blanks the right size. This needs to be, what, 4 foot 5 inches. So that's 5 inches. This needs to be 6, and it is, but it's now an oval because of the bucket that I had it in the sides kind of splayed out a bit. So I know I've got 6 inches here. What I want to do actually though is actually make use of this oval shape instead of just being a round top and round bottom. I'm going to leave that. Leave that shape and then work around that as much as I possibly can. This guy will be obviously the main body for the grinder, and I'll need to make a drawer out of this, a pull-out drawer. So this is going to be kind of an interesting project, kind of reworking what they have and deciding not to use the dimensional lumber. Because honestly, really, I wanna turn it, man. I mean, I can do flat work, sure, why not? but that's not what I do. So, zip that up some. You know what, I gotta situate this camera here. I had a PIP and I can't for some reason get it back where I could actually have one camera aimed at my face. Have a camera to look into and talk to while I'm working on stuff, but I can't get the PIP back right now, so I'm dealing just with single camera shots, unfortunately. I will get it figured out. It will happen. So I need to find the center for this guy, although I'm pretty sure it's probably right about there. But I am going to work on this dude.
Said, that's what she said.
So I want to find the center, because I'm going to start off between centers with this dude, because I got a part. Not only do I have to clean this face up. Let's do this first. Not only do I have to clean this face up, where the meniscus of the liquid formed in the bucket, there's an upturn there. It needs to be turned. So we are off a little bit. Shucky darn. That straight and that straight. And now I need to find this guy. Let's line it up. Hey, those actually line up. That works. So, oh man, the original center for the piece is really, really close to where I'm putting the new center. So it wasn't that far off. I want to get the center on this. Oh shoot, I also forgot I need to get a cover for my laptop, because this is going to spray some resin around. Resin dust. I'm betting that's probably the center, because that's the center of the bottom of the bucket. I bet that is the center. One line, two lines. Look at that. Supposed to be lined up. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That is definitely the center. The bottom of the bucket. Who'd have thunk it? Okay, so this guy, I think, is ready. Let me make sure that I get it in there. It doesn't look like it. Does this get caught? Not really. Okay. Now there's a divot. There we go. That resin is a little hard, which is alright. It should be a little hard. We don't want it soft. Okay, I've got my, I don't have the center here. But this was going in a chuck, was it not? Yes. So I gotta figure out which end. I don't suppose it really matters all that much. We'll go with this end. Which end to start from? On this guy, this is going to be the body of it, and then this guy will be the top and the bottom, and I think this will be the body and the drawer. In theory, let's see. Let's put this away and this away. Alright, so I thought I had turned the microphone off so you didn't have to hear me chew, but apparently you heard me chew because you did not have it turned off. Sorry about that. Alright, now for the fun stuff. I'm going to clean up light. I got to clean up this edge to start with, and then I got to work in a place to hold this in the chuck. I think, well, let's see what I'm doing here. Well, let's cut the pieces out first. The top and the bottom pieces. The bottom piece is going to stay solid. The top piece is obviously going to have a hole in it so that the mechanism can sit on top. So I'm going to turn those parts excuse me, out. Now, I thought about, I'm going to bring that back up now. I don't have a large enough band saw to do something like this, and I didn't want to. Oh shit, I forgot my laptop cover. I didn't want to what the heck? Yeah, let me get that cover. Forgot all about those. Excuse me. There we go. Alright, so now that everything is in place, yeah, okay.
MAV_K14 said, "Is the sound truly off?"
No. No, I thought it was, but I guess I was wrong. Unless, wait a minute. You know what? Let's see. Built-in input. Ah, you know what? That's interesting. Okay. All right. So I had a different input on as well. It was the laptop from Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. I was turning and lost connection with my microphones for some reason. And had to switch over to come on, Dave, laptop input. There we go. All right, so this will probably be a little difficult. It is going to be slippery. And I can't make it less slippery, unfortunately, because it's resin and the demolding compound did affect the outside of this, where it's like super smooth and slick, so I really can't. I think I got gloves. Maybe the gloves will work. Let's try this. Just got to make sure this is as secure as I can make it. I may You know what might just be a smart thing is to just go ahead and put it in a chuck on this side. But, all right, hold on. You should not be moving. Okay, that's that side. That touches that side. That comes out too far. So I am actually a little bit off on my center. But it appears to be about a 1/16 of an inch, actually. Let me see if I can make that up. Ooh, I went the wrong way. Oops. So I gotta get this. This is, I don't guess it has to be super. Yeah, it does. This is me we're talking about. I want to get right on the center if I can get it. Oh man, it's so close. I'm gonna take that. I don't want to monkey around with it too much. Whoops, we gotta lock that down. Saying it might be a good idea just to go ahead and put a tenon on one end. Excuse me, dang it. And put it in a chuck. I won't have any issues with this spinning on me. Because I think that might be a problem. Let's do this first. Okay, glasses down. Put those away. Bull gouge, where are you, brother? Okay. Ooh, how fast are we going? That's another thing. All right, that takes care of the face of that anyway. I will need to size it properly in a while. Let's go ahead. I think I'm going to go. Well, let's hold on a second. Let's try this guy first. I need to part this off. It is, like I said, I don't have a bandsaw big enough to do anything like this. And I didn't want to use a chainsaw because it's resonant and it would just chew that stuff up. So let's say if this works out the way I'm hoping that it works out. In fact, let's just take the whole face down to its finished surface in theory. nice when I get back into the wood. Got these stringers of resin all over. This is my least favorite part about turning resin is all this streamers and stuff. Okay, so that's faced off pretty well. That's really all I needed to do with that. Got right into the burl wood, but this resin will, I think it's going to look cool with an oval top and bottom. That's the plan anyway. Is that going to be? Yes, it is. A little too far away. Now, let's make sure everything's going to clear. Actually, I don't want to do it that way, do I? No. I want to do it this way. And this is why, I'm going to go turn on the compressor too. This is why I wanted to make sure I had the cover for the laptop. Yay! It's not too cold for that to run. I feel like we had a heat wave today, man. This guy. You're not supposed to be rubbing on there, man.
And 80 underscore K14 said, I know making a square piece on lathe round sucks.
Yeah. But it beats the alternative. And that's taking a round piece and making it square on the lathe. That's actually pretty difficult. Tool that tried to bail off the lathe here.
And 80 underscore K14 said, no thank you, I will stay round.
I can go almost square on the lathe. It's going to have round corners, and it won't be like totally, it'll be more rectangular, but I can do it. Actually, anybody could do it. Get all these streamers up off the floor and into the trash can here. Like, I have now a lot of time between resin projects when I do resin projects, so I forgot that this just really spreads this stuff all over. Okay. Yeah, you see, I don't know if you saw that. I was trying to keep it from falling, down onto the other side of the lathe, but it's so slick that it just, as soon as I take it out of that detente for the pin, it just wanted to slide right on the resin. So I think getting this set up for a chuck is a better idea. Let's see. Come on. That way I won't have any issue with the centers and working between centers and the piece wanting to slide by. Okay. Nope. Wrong side, Dave. There you go. So in theory, this won't bottom out. It shouldn't bottom out at all. I didn't make a huge tenon, but I've got a good 1/4 of an inch on this guy. Oh no, come on. There we go. I think, yes. It's just big enough. The jaw spacing is just big enough. Okay. So I'm definitely dealing with some vibration here, but that's because this is an oval piece. It is going to stay that way. Yeah, came off a little bit. That's all right. It'll be fine. A 1/16 of an inch, maybe a fat 1/16 of an inch is not going to be that big of a deal. I think as far as it being on, I can make adjustments later. How much of this do I want? Okay, so this guy calls for 1/2 inch thickness on the top plate and the bottom plate. So I'm going to take out 3/4 of an inch here, so I have something to hold on to. I can make a tenon. Or actually, wait a minute, hold that thought. How big does that hole need to be? Uh, 2-inch hole. So I'm drilling right into wood there. So you know what? I think I'll do that first. And then I can part this dude off, and I can hold that, since it's a 2-inch hole, I can hold it from the inside. This will be resin. So using a chuck in expansion mode with, that much wall thickness pushing out, I think will be very stable. Not a fan of expansion holds, but when I do have to use them, I want to give myself, as much room for error as possible. So let's take off 3/4 of an inch of this guy. After I drill it. So I want to mark here. Oh man, it's right on the money. Sweet! I don't think I could do that twice. Oh, maybe I can. A little air bubble that I needed to get rid of anyway on the surface is right at my parting line. Oh, there's a reason there's a bubble there. In fact. All right, so can I see that? Yes, I can see that line. That works. That's all that matters. I think I'll scribe it a little bit more. If I can. And I think, yeah, that'll do. All right, so that's that one. I will measure for, well, I'm going to take off, say, another 1/4 of an inch, parting it.
probably don't need to go that far, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then this will be the bottom plate. Oh, that's interesting. I did not pay attention to that. All right, so we're looking down from above. Let me shut this light off. Get this in the right orientation here. That'll work right there. Oh, I went too far. So this is tapered. It's wider here than it is down here. And because the bucket splayed out, it's not as wide here as it is here. So basically it's an oval, right? Because this plate is going to be larger than this plate, I'm going to turn this into the base. I was going to make this the top, but this will be the base, so it'll be more stable. And I think that will look nicer with a slightly smaller oval on the top anyway. So we'll give that a shot. Where did I mark this guy? Did I mark this guy? So, and this will be interesting, an interesting process, because, at least for me anyway, because I am not only taking a kit and making the kit, but I'm making changes to it on the fly. So instead of using dimensional lumber, I decided that, oh man, it's not making a mark. Oh, it's just not showing up. I wanted to turn it. So those will show up really nice. And now the fun begins. I just need to part these out, put tenons on them. I can get this guy moved aside. We'll use this for another project at some point down the road. But I need to start parting this off. So I got that line. Got me a good start. Wow. This is what's happening. It's all coming up right up here. I don't know if I can stay out of the way for this. And while parting this, that resin is warmed up a little bit, so I could feel warm resin. The warmth on my skin. Okay, I don't understand that. Oh. Now I do. I was talking about, when I say I don't understand that, I was talking about I didn't understand the noise that's coming off this, but now I do. And it's because the sides are rubbing. You can see here. No, you can't. Now you can. You can see here a little bit of tear out from the edge of the tool hitting that corner, and that's where I was getting that sound. Okay, this is going to be the bottom. I need a way to hold on to this dude. I think that I would like more of the wood grain to show than resin. When you're looking at the completed piece and it's sitting in front of you, that's the surface that I want to be seen. So before I part all the way through here, I'm going to create a spot to make a tenon here, and then I'll part it off the rest of the way. Right after I get all of this. What would really be helpful is if I did this and I could look into the monitor and see where I need to clean off, because it's hard to see. Wrong side. In the middle. And off the shoulder. All right. Funny thing is like I've got the computer covered over there, but hardly any of it is landing on the computer. It's all landing on me. Okay, let's do this. And so the tenon for this guy, and actually I've got to look at all of this, because what they're doing here, let's turn this off. And actually, let's not turn it off. Let's just swipe to the right and grab this. So I'm not even in the... I bumped the camera. My bad. Let me get things set up again. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'd hit that dude, but I bet it was when I was cleaning off all this streamers of cured resin. Bring this down some. It's probably too much. That looks about right. Okay, so if we look at this, all dimensional lumber, maybe a hole in the top, which I'll put in this guy, and then this flat. And I can do whatever flare I want with this. I do have not only a Dremel, but a router. So I can chamfer, do things to this oval piece with the router. But I've got to... how they have this tied together is glued and screwed. I think you can... I'm trying to get them better. There we go. So it's glued and screwed here. So while I'm doing this, I want to look at, like, what do I have to do to inset the main body of it into the piece, so they don't have to use screws. So again, this is all like kind of on the fly. This is really I enjoy doing it this way. I don't know if this is my favorite thing to do, but I do enjoy turning this way a lot. And that's, just creating a piece and then working with it on the fly. Oh, that would be a good show. Here, we'll do this. Yeah. Bird's eye view for you. Well, it does look like the streamers are covering up the camera, so I thought that might be kind of funny until I realized it's actually covering up the camera. Okay, let's get all these guys off of here. That's a lot of streamers on me and on the lathe here. Like I say, this is probably the most hassle-filled part of turning resin, is all these plastic streamers all over the place. I do everything I can to make sure they don't get mixed in with wood shavings that I use for other projects. Try to get everything into the trash can as soon as possible. Whew. All right, so I've got that guy. Let's put in the dovetail. Is that a dovetail? For some reason, it doesn't look like a dovetail to me. There we go. And how much more do I have to go to part this off? Just a little bit. I'm still going to cut through the last little bit, but I want to get this tenon in there down as far as I can get away with. Let's see, that will pass. That will not pass because we're about a 1/16 of an inch off of center. All right, so I'm getting really down deep in there, but you can see my kerf here is wider than the tool. That way I'm not going to get bound up. So I go in a little bit. And then I'll go in on the other side at the other angle. That's as far as I can get in there. Let's see if I can get just a wee bit closer. Woo, that's pushing it. I can saw through that, but... And that's as far as I get with this guy because that's as long as my tool is. A parting tool, so... I don't normally part all the way off anyway. It depends. But on larger pieces, I usually don't. I'll cut off. I guess not just larger pieces. In practice, generally, I will cut to a tenon and then saw through that tenon. Spin this guy up a bit. There we go. Because I think that anytime I can get away from having to clean up saw marks, all that kind of thing, I'll take it. And if I were to just part this particular piece off the lathe, it's big enough that it could go just wherever it wanted to. And I wouldn't have a whole lot of control over that. So that's that one. So we'll have more, we're on camera, more of the wood surface showing on the top when you're looking, down onto this grinder. So I think that'll look a lot nicer. And it is maple burl. So that one's all set. Now, here is where, because that is mostly wood. What am I doing? Let's put this over here. Here is where I believe I'm going to cut my 2-inch hole. Let me first make sure that I do have my lines drawn, but I think that is a little bit less. No, all right. So I did not take off as much for the curve here as I had planned for. That's a nice thing. So I just need to follow this line, and this I'll have a little bit more material here to play with. Before, let's see, well, I'm going to, but then that means I'll part it off. Do I want to do that? I know what I want to do. How wide was this? Let's just get a ruler on it. If it was 2 inches, oh, it's a little bit bigger than 2 inches. If it was 2 inches, if I can get my tool in there, actually this is a smaller diameter now, so I can get my tool further in. So if I can get my tool further in, what I'll do is I'll drill the hole and part it off that way. I'm going to try that. So we'll get this guy ready to go first. Let's bring it more towards right over the banjo, so that more of the force will go straight down instead of having to go over and down if I was over here. And we'll get a different view. Let's get that view. So if I was here on the end, the force still would go down, but it has to travel at a right angle to go down first. The closer I am to the banjo, the less that it has to shift that force over. So it's a lot more stable here. I won't get a lot of movement out here with everything tightened down, but it's always better, in my opinion, to start where you have everything the most stable. Especially dealing with this kind of stuff, because resin is heavy. Resin is heavy. I can feel this. I'm just going to tilt this camera up for a sec. You can see what's happening. It's parting. It's all coming right at me, and it's all being warmed up very nicely by the frictional forces of the tool against the resin. But I've got to go kind of a little bit back and forth, fishtail a little bit to keep that kerf open. Okay, so that is as close as I'm going to get. I'm now going to clean myself off here as soon as I can see it in the camera. There we go. Let's turn this off. See it better. Be nice to have a mirror set up right here, but I don't have it. And I don't know, why would you have a mirror in the shop anyway, I guess. I'm not normally concerned with shavings and stuff all over me. It's just... Oops. Trying to keep things a little clean. Okay. So I don't know, I'm going to say that's really, really close. The instructions call for a 2-inch hole, so we're going to create that. With a Forstner bit. Oh man. Yeah, that's why I have a mallet. Or one of the reasons I have one anyway. Okay, let's move that aside. Get this cleaned out. Oh, and I need to clean that off too. Oh, hey, this is an interesting way to make little bird nests, I guess. I don't have to use resin. I can use other things, but I can wrap it around Cool. Okay. Jacob's chuck. And Forstner bit. Let's see where my 2-inch is. Let's see. Jacob's chuck. Key. Goes right there. Take out my calipers and say, you are 2 1/8, so you are too large. I do have to be careful with at least this dimension because the grinding mechanism has to fit over this, and then it gets attached. And I think most likely I'm probably going to change the screws out because I'm not, well, I mean, I'm using wood there. But it's burl wood. So I think I don't know what to think yet. All right, let's open this guy up. Get my drill bit in there. Another one of the things that I do with my Forstner bits, most of my Forstner bits and drill bits, is that I put file, grind, whatever, a flat on one part of the shaft so that it can line up with one of the teeth in the Jacob's chuck. That helps with rotational shear force so that this won't necessarily just spin in the Jacob's chuck if it gets hung up. And it's also a more secure hold. Okay, let's see. Oops. Let's see what we got here. How does that look? Okay. And am I going to hit it? Yes. Okay, very good. Let's see. I think I want to start right there, which means this needs to come up a little bit more. Actually, if I want to start there, I'll come out 1/4 inch. There. Now I need to slow this down. Whoops, I need to close this too. Clear off all that resin stuff. Oh, move that aside. And I'm turning this guy down. Excuse me. So let's take a look. Ooh, boy, that smells kind of funky. Let's see how deep we got there, and then check it on the outside. It's actually just through, so I need to go a little bit deeper. That was it. I could kind of feel it. Okay. So now we can move this guy aside. I guess I need to brush that off and pick up the pieces of stuff that fell down onto the floor. Where are my brushes there? How about that? Okay. Clean enough. Put these away. And then it won't take but just a few strokes with the saw to take it off the rest of the way. It's on the floor. There we go. Sorry, you have to bear with me. The constant changes in temperature make my nose run awkward, so bear with me. Okay. Where am I at? Yes, we need to cut that off. Oh, let's see. Maybe I haven't gotten through there yet. But I thought, oh, yeah, I did. Okay. So not quite all the way through, but that's great because then I don't have a big hole here. And I can clean that up with no trouble. So there's those two pieces. Now I can take this guy. Well, let's clean that up first before I take it out of the chuck. Did it fall off? Yes. No, the other one did. Where are you? All right. So I'm going to put this tool away since I don't need it, and it's going to keep falling off the lathe while I'm turning out of round objects here. And vibration is just going to keep going. All right. It's interesting. The resin is soaked in pretty far. I think you can actually see it. It's like almost 3/8 of an inch into the material. I was hoping it would soak in more because this burl is, I mean, it's not punky. It is a little bit, which is why I was using it for the resin, but Sorry, I'm concentrating on this cut. I want to get it straight. There we go. Surface. Does not have to be perfect, but hey man, it's another chance to practice the skills, right? There we go. And you can take that out of the chuck now. Lots of cool bark inclusions, all kinds of groovy stuff. Hey. Which reminds me, yeah. Okay, so let's measure this. Let me switch to my camera view. Come on, switch. So I had a basically a bowl blank, right? It was going to be twice turned. It was this burl wood, and I wound up using it as part of the blank, plus another round piece of burl wood. I can't remember. It was just a puck, really, and then had that placed on top of a solid piece, this guy, and then filled that with resin. So I've got this resin band here, and it gives me pause because if this is the same, too bad. Well, no, it's close. I can use this band once I get this turned to shape, and I think I would like, actually, I think, and we'll go with this. So this will be the the body of the box, and then this, that's what I was trying to do, fit it over here like this. So then I could make that an inset, and it would be right in that resin band. So it's actually really nice, maybe potentially really nice placement accidentally. Let's see how we look though. That's 1 1/8 from that lobe. So this should be quite a bit less. Actually, it shouldn't be that much less. I'm thinking it should be 1/8 inch less-ish, because we were 1/16 inch off the center, and so doubling that, making that complete circle, would turn that into 1/8 inch. However, it must have been slightly more than 1/16, because I'm at 3/16 now instead of 1/8. So it's off by 3/16. Shucks. Does that matter? No, not really. Because the body of the box is going to fit anywhere in here. I just want to center it as close as I can. And here, am I centered here? 1 1/16. I feel nothing. Okay. And then 1 1 1/8. So here, the 1/16 inch is reflected here, in difference off of center. But on the around the outside, since it's turned around, we're talking from center here, measuring to that, as opposed to from the outside measuring in. It's dead on that 1/16 inch difference, because we're also talking about the outside, and it makes a complete circle. That 1/16 inch off turns into 1/8 inch overall of difference, which is why it's important to me to try to find those centers and relocate centers if I have to take something off. Try to be meticulous about it, because taking a piece off and then not getting it directly centered again, like doing stuff like this, everything is off. So it's really important to me anyway, when I'm doing stuff like this, to be as close or right on center if I can get it. I often can, sometimes I can't quite get it, and that's okay. I understand it's going to translate into twice the distance, and work from there. Okay, so this guy now is done. So I got a nice, really nice blank for future use. I'm going to set that on the shelf. Or rather, you know what? I'm going to set it inside because I want to set it on a place where I'm actually going to stare at it now and again. And maybe get some, I don't know, communication, inspiration, imagery, whatever. Just look at the piece and see, hey, man, what might you want to be? Okay, let's close that. We'll leave that running. I don't really need it right now because we're just building pieces. We're not trying to turn everything to be perfectly clean yet. Actually what I do need to do is I'll sand off this ridge. So having that run actually is a good thing right now. Excuse me. And that will save me any kind of headache I may have trying to get this over the other chuck, in expansion mode. Just use my little auto body sander. I like this thing, man. This Harbor Freight. I can't even remember. I think it was 20, 30 bucks maybe. But I got to tell you, man, this little right angle grinder for sanding on the wood is pretty nice. You gotta, I do anyway. I shouldn't say you gotta because, I don't know. Everybody's different, right? I have to pay attention to the speed of the thing and feathering it in with the trigger. I don't like burning the wood. Trying not to burn the wood. I just want to take those high spots off. So I really work at feathering that in. I'm getting better at it. Let's put it that way. Taking a lot of practice. This guy can be kind of squirrely if you let it. And I've used this, one of these roll-locks. So I've used this with the larger roll-lock pads too. All that off. Okay. With the larger roll-lock pods, when I've got a larger, what is that, an arbor, whatever they want to call that the pad sits on, I think it works better. I think the roll-lock sanders work better with the smaller discs because there seems to be more of a coverage of the back plate, the arbor, whatever it is, on the back of the abrasive disc as opposed to having the wider one with this slightly wider arbor. There's still a lot more floppy material out on the end of the larger discs, I think, in my opinion. I prefer to use the smaller discs, smaller roll-out discs with my air tools because they just are a lot easier to control. This is, I don't know if I have a disc right handy, but this is the arbor of the one for the larger pads, and it is just about, I'd say it's like 1/8 of an inch smaller diameter than the abrasive on the smaller wheel. But then you've got 1/2 inch or so of the larger wheel hanging off, and it's kind of floppy. So I don't like using it for things like this, or even any kind of cleanup sanding, because it's so floppy. And the smaller size seem to work better for me in that regard. But roll-lock discs are pretty cool. I don't get paid to say that, although I wouldn't mind getting paid to say that. So if you are Roll-Lock and you would like to sponsor this channel, please let me know. I'd love to discuss terms with you. In the meantime, it is just one of the tools that I use. I probably will stop naming them. Just say, yeah, this is what I got. This is the one tool I got. Won't give you a brand name or whatever. That's probably the best approach to this until, I don't want to get, I don't know how it all works on the internet. It's like I'm always, I guess I shouldn't be worried, but, somebody say, hey, that's my intellectual property. And plus, it's free advertising, so I don't guess they would bitch if I mentioned the name. But again, I'm not sponsored by these. Okay, so now I need, I need 2 parts. I'm going to need the main body of the box and the drawer that fits inside it. So this is going to be kind of tricky, I think. Oh, that's right. This was set up for a chuck, and I don't need this guy. I forgot. Cool. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Okay. So using the tailstock as the third hand arm, whatever, get the pressure against the face of the jaws down here. And then I can freely use both my hands to tighten things up. How cool is that? All right, so this particular mold was made with a 3-liter bottle, 3-liter soda bottle. So there's still some of that. Was it a 3? Yeah, it was. Or was it a? No, let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, it was a 3-liter. The only one I picked it up specifically to do this, so I didn't have to make a mold. But anyway, some of that is still left behind, so I need to clean that off, and then straighten out the surface. And I'm gonna actually, we'll just do pull cuts, and I'm gonna have to swap tools here in a second. But I want to clear off this extraneous plastic from the mold. And when I do that, I don't usually spray mold release into it because, I'm just going to cut the thing off anyway. So why do I need it to release? But now we see that I probably should because I have to clean this off now. I think one of the hardest things for me to learn, me personally, and one of the things that I like to talk about a lot, actually, is the pace of your cut. The pace of the cut should only be as fast as the tool can actually make the cut. Don't force it. It's not a race, number one. And number two, if you're trying to force it, you're just going to cause yourself some problems. Tear out. The list goes on. I don't really need to elucidate on that. You want to move as fast as the tool can cut, not faster. Slower is okay. So when I'm working through this and I'm watching that cut happen, I can get a really, really nice surface working that way. And then again with the pace, in the case of this guy, it's in spindle orientation. I'm coming off the end of it, and I'm not varying my speed. I don't want to vary my speed on the dismount. Let's see, is that going to be... Yeah, let me clean that up first. And let me clean this up really quick, and I think I have a more better visual explanation. I'm having a little trouble because it's time to change my tool out, but I figured I'd make this cut because this isn't like critical to the integrity of the piece. Still need to have a little bit more to take off, but this is starting to get dull. Well, I don't know, I'll take one more pass. But I don't want to vary my speed because you can wind up with tear out. Now this is resin, so I got a little bit of tear out here, but on the wood, there isn't any. This is just the resin, a little bit of resin that's torn out, and that's because what happens when you shatter, so it's just like glass, when you shatter an edge, it's going to shatter. If I take the cut the opposite direction, then that edge won't have a chance to shatter. So I can clean this up, since it's resin, by going the opposite direction. And we're just talking about this corner, this very corner, this edge. That's all I'm talking about. Because I had some tear out. This is going to disappear because some of this is going to get cut off the top. So I'm not really worried about this. Some of this is bubbles from the mold. But the tear out that I'm worried about is with the wood. And I can get rid of, I mean, is that the right word? Is that the right term? I can mitigate any kind of tool damage on the outside of the resin piece if I start at the top, the edge of it, and work into the body. If I'm going out this way, I'm going to get a lot more tear out. So you can see now, almost all of that's cleaned up. These are some air bubbles, so that's going to take some time to clean up, but I'm taking some more off this surface anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. But almost all of the tear out for the resin now is gone. I'm, again, more concerned about the wood. So I don't want to vary my speed coming off. I want to keep that same tempo from when I start to when I dismount. So in this case, I'm going to come to this, just past this line. I really can't come off the piece, but I still have a dismount. That's it right there. It's just following the surface, going as fast as the tool can cut, taking it to the end of the cut and following through. I haven't changed the speed of the travel. I've just followed through with the cut right there, and that's it. Reduce any tear out, any kind of issues with those cuts by not varying the speed. You want to keep your speed constant, even if it's a slower cut. Still keep that speed constant. You want the tool engaging the material and doing the work, instead of trying to make your body do the work that it can't really do, because this is a rotational force against tools. We're not kind of built to do this, so we got to do it at a right angle to it, or angles to it, with tools. All right, so now I'm at, got a fairly clean outer surface. I'm not concerned. I knew this was going to be here. I'm not concerned about that. It's a little bit of an air bubble that was in the mold. I knew that was there. But I need to, where did it go? There it is. I need to find out. Here it says we want 4 inches high. So I need to go a little bit beyond that because I want to have 2 tenons for the top and bottom plates to fit on it so that I can put it together that way. I don't want to screw it together. So right now I want to find what this diameter is. I mean, it's almost right at 5. So let's go this way. Go to my center point. And yeah, sure enough, it is 4. Oops, I lost it. At the center point there. It is a little bit fatter than 4 15/16. So that's it's close enough to 5. They're saying it's 5.5 inches wide. I've got 5, and that'll do. It's just the body. I've got to build the lid out of this too. So 4 inches off of this guy would be there, and almost completely miss this. So that's not even going to be an issue at all. So I need to take a little bit off of here. I'm going to say, we'll call it 1/4 of an inch. And I'll measure down 4 1/4 because we're taking off that. So that's 4 inches. Now I can play with this. I don't have to make it 4 inches high. I can make it 27 inches high. I can make it 2 inches high. It doesn't matter. What matters is like the drawer placement, or all that stuff. So I can change those dimensions as I want to, which I did with the top and bottom plate. They needed to be 5.5, 7 inches square. Well, these are 6 by 7. I think 6 by 8. 6 by 7 and about 3/8. So 6 by 7.5. Oh no, it's even more than that. 6.5 by 7.5. So we're not 7 by 7, but we're still in that range, right? I get to play with whatever. I'm building the guy. I just got to follow some basic guidelines. Now, I need to find out what my height is going to be. So this will wind up being a little bit less than 5 inches tall, just the main body of everything. We're not talking about the mechanism on top. So this would be about, let's see, let me think about this. Between 5 and 5.5 inches tall, as it stands right now. So I need to factor in the tenon material. Or I don't need to factor in the tenon material. I need to factor in the depth that this is going to inset. This could be the tenon. Let's think about this. Now, if I have this, let's say this is the top. If I have this here, and that's inset into this, that would be okay because we've got this 2-inch hole. Let's swap the camera view so you can follow along with the bouncing ball here. So it's a 2-inch hole. So this being 5 inches and setting into just right inside that resin ring, which is in the right spot, will be perfect, actually. and which means then I would need to inset the whole entire thing, which I can do to have the whole thing inset, or I can just cut tenons. Either way, I've got to do that maximum. No, I don't. I can do whatever diameter I want. But I want to be able to hide the edges when they're put together, so everything is more or less press fit, if that makes sense. So I want to hide all of the joints, so it doesn't matter whether I cut a tenon or not. I can leave this the way it is. As long as this cylindrical diameter is the same all the way across, it will do the job. Then I can just hollow this guy out. Now I've got to think about the drawer. All right, so this is, I'm going to give myself, let's see, where was 4? Where was 4? Where was 4? 4 was right there. Okay, so this is 4. Right there. So I got to figure out where the drawer is going to go. And it makes more sense to me. Frogs are jumping around in my throat today for some reason. To do it on this side as opposed to on this side, because all these resin lines may or may not line up properly. These probably will not line up properly, but the wood grain will still be there and visible. So I'm going to, let's see, I think I will do this first. I'm going to clean up this diameter with a sharp bowl gouge. I suppose I could do it with a skew, but since I'm down low and I can stay there, I'm going to do that. Let's check out this dude. Uh-oh. Nope, this is the one that needs to be sharpened. Why is that in there? You need to be sharpened. You should not be in the tool bag. You're all right. So I seem to have misplaced somewhere a bowl gouge. Okay. So I've lined up my tool rest with the ways. And I'll use this as my guide. This is one nice thing about, this is actually one nice thing about turning resin. You can actually, it's a lot easier to show like the different thicknesses in cuts that are made by these clumps. So it's nice for visual demonstration purposes, but it sucks to clean up. All right, let's see. Let's grab all that stuff. Into the trash can you go. No, into the trash can you go. See, not on the floor. Yeah, I clearly forgot what the resin project was going to be like. All right, so this is still not parallel to the ways, although it's really close. It is very close. So I'm going to make another. Actually, what I need to do is make a pass this direction. So I can start that. The diameter I need. So watch the pace of my tool as I come off the end. I'm not going to change the speed. And that really, really helps with tear out on the ends. I see a lot of people getting tear out this way, and it's because they go out here and they rush right off the end. Oh, the cut's done, and they hurry up and finish the cut. Just carry through the same speed. You're going to have a lot better results that way. Don't rush it. Nice and smooth, baby. All right, so now I'm thinking I want to take this down a little bit more. And the reason for that is I've got resin in here that right over the top of the wood that I want to get rid of, right in here. So I'm going to take it down. I'm okay with this being a little proud, the resin being a little proud of the wood, because the top is going to sit right there down a little bit. But I want the resin off of this. It's okay that it's here. I want to keep the resin, contained, if that makes sense, into the areas that I want it contained. And then the wood, the timber, to be exposed as much as I can get. So let's see. I think I will take it this direction again. Not varying my speed. I started off with a nice stable stance and then just allowed my body to shift with the cut. You see the surface of that is really nice. That's a really nice clean surface. I've almost got all that gone. So it's not going to take, I'll do another pass and that should get rid of that, hopefully, the rest of this stuff. Body mechanics is very, very important when you're turning, especially if you want to do it for any extended period of time, I think. The more comfortable you are, of course, the better you're going to do at the lathe, because you're more comfortable. You're dealing with uncomfortable turning. You're never going to be fully focused on what you're working on, because some of that attention is always going to be diverted to your discomfort. So do something about that. Make it so that's not a thing. Use your body mechanics to your benefit. So L stance, start off on the edge, work my way in. This is not a heavy cut. Clearly, I'll show you this shavings, the streamers. I want to say shavers, the streamers when we're done with this cut. So this is pretty much the size of cuts that I've been making, and that's 32nd of an inch. All right, it's less than a 16th. You can vary your cut to whatever you're comfortable with as far as the depth of cut. You don't have to stay always in orders. There's times when taking heavy cuts and really hogging stuff off is beneficial, and times when not doing that is beneficial. And in this case, not doing that means I have a much better surface to work with when I'm going to start with abrasives. This surface is already really nice. All right, so I got to figure out a drawer here. How am I going to do this? So this is new for me. This is not something I've attempted before. So so this will be interesting to me too, to watch how I do this, because I don't know. I think what I probably could do, or could use. Oh, come on, man! It's not advice. Kind of is tips, pointers, tips from watching. What the heck was I gonna say? But the people make bandsaw boxes, right? Because they cut through everything. Now there's always going to be, until you fill it, a saw kerf. I am hoping that I can create the saw. That I can create the saw kerf and make that be the outside of the box. Dude, I think I just figured this out. I don't know. Let's see. I think I may have the tool that will help me do this. I don't know, again, because this is new to me. I haven't attempted this before. Where's the tool? Yeah, heck yeah, man. If I can find this, I forget what they call them. It's some kind of cutoff tool, a vibrating cutoff tool, whatever the hell they call those things. I've got one. And if I can make a straight... No. We're not a reciprocating saw. We don't need that. I can make a straight cut using that vibrational cutter. I'm trying to figure out where I have placed this guy so that I can actually even attempt to use it for this project. Let's see. Is it in here? Because I did not set myself up for this. I didn't think about this until just now. Is that the guy? That's the guy. All right. So that's the guy. Now we just need the cutters. And those look like they are in here, but I don't know that these are going to be the right kind. But we'll give it a shot. I may need to buy some different cutters, which is okay because this is a multi-day project. So I don't have to do everything in one night. I don't have to try to fumble fuck all this stuff together. I mean, I'm planning on the fly. That is true. I'm working out this on more or less on the fly. I have the plans. I'm working from the plans, but I'm putting my own twist on it since I'm a woodturner. I've never seen one of these. Not that I've seen a lot of these, but I've never seen one of these that was just all turned. They've all been flat work. So what is this guy called? This is a Black & Decker... what does it say here? Type BD200MT. Yeah, that's not going to tell me anything. I forget what these cutters are called. Maybe it says it here. That's universal fitment. No. Oscillating. This is an oscillating blade, but it's not the right blade that I need to cut this drawer out of here with. So I'll have to pick up some tomorrow. What I need is, because these are semicircular, I've used these on other projects like trim by doors and stuff like that. It's really, really great vibrational cutter. I think this will really be nice if I can plunge a straight cut to create a box, cut a box out of this, just like a bandsaw box, more or less, except not having the other kerfs that I have to fill. I just want to cut this box out, and then I will fit the top and the bottom to it. And then I know the box will match the grain wherever I cut it out. It's the box that's going to receive. This is a coffee grinder. it's a box that's going to receive the grounds. Or, well, it's just a grinder. So whatever falls into the box, whatever they use the grinder for, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm sure it'll be herbs and maybe coffee. This is just pretty wood. So pretty. So glad I held on to this. This is really nice. This is going to look fabulous. Oh, and I need to double check that I am more or less parallel. I am not. I still need to take a little bit more off here. Anyway, this is the cutter that I'm talking about. So this is the cutter that I'm planning on using to create the box. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, since I have to get different cutting blades. I can go out to a local hardware store and pick some up. These, I think, came from, this is Black & Decker, so I think that was Home Depot. Home Depot. Not that I'm not, just named another. It's a box store. I shouldn't name these places, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that matters or works or whatever. I don't know if it should matter. They're common names, and I'm sure they won't bitch about me saying their name while I'm on the internet, saying, yeah, these are tools I use. Of course, they would love the free, here we go, the free advertising. I mean, I would love it. But at the moment, I'm not sponsored by these people. Let's line that up. That's not lined up right. I need a light. Let's see. Do I have my, nope. Now this light finally gave up the ghost, I think. I don't know what the heck it was doing yesterday, but it was just fading out. It's an LED light. It was fading in and out. Like, what is wrong with this Chinese-made lamp? Did they get the parts from America? That must be it. Go ahead. Go ahead, hit me with it. I'm neither, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of the, God dang it, there it is, that's it right there. A lot of the custom shops that are in the U.S., that fab stuff like this, it's all custom work, and our manufacturing, a lot of it was moved elsewhere. So I'm not bashing American ingenuity or American know-how or American whatever.
You don't like Menards. Base or True Value?
Yeah, they're all right. That's what I have to work with, in fact. There's Menards here, Lowe's, Home Depot. Do we have, no, we have Ace. We don't have, do we have a True Value? Yeah, we do have True Value. Yeah. I just think that, I don't know, it's a practice. Or it seems like it's been a practice, so I figured I should say something like, yeah, I don't get sponsored for saying that I use these tools. All right? I don't get sponsored for it. Maybe someday. And so when I tell people these are the tools I use, it's not because I'm getting paid to say it. It's because these are the tools I use. The manufacturers of these tools just don't sponsor this channel yet. But they will, eventually. Because they'll see the value in it. There we go. So I think that was a really good cut. And this is, I don't know, maybe a 64th of an inch. But it's nice, like I said, to be able to use these streamers. Sometimes with wood shavings, they'll just fall apart and it's hard to see the actual shaving structure. So with the resin, it is a little bit easier. And the streamers don't just commonly just fall apart. Did I get it? I am so close, man. What's that? Interesting. Okay, let's see. What am I doing? I'm doing one more pass. And I think I'll take that much off and do it again. And one more time. Oops, not too fast. Broke my shade. So spider webs. But definitely a great visual for seeing or following the depth of your cut, all that kind of stuff. I think that resin is great practice for that. I just think cleaning up after it is a pain in the butt. But that's all spider webby. You can vary the depth of your cut on any tool. It doesn't have to be every cut the same, right? Turning is almost all finesse, in my opinion. Can't say that I share that opinion with everyone because I don't know everyone. But I'm the kind of guy that likes to bang shit out, or at least I used to have been that way in my youth. And I am getting to the point where I don't like to bang shit out anymore because it's starting to hurt longer. so I'm trying to think more. And working with what my body can deal with at the lathe, and it's different for everyone. That's why I really enjoy working with turners, because I get to learn those things and help them figure those things out and get into a better position personally for their turning journey. I think I'm just not quite getting it, man, or it is an optical illusion.
Being close to Milwaukee, I'm a fan of Milwaukee Tool.
Yeah, right. They do make some good tools, man. They like them a lot because they're spendy. But Milwaukee tools are good. Yeah. Definitely a great. I'm assuming, right? I don't know much about Milwaukee. I think that they are all the parts, everything is American made. Can't swear to it. I don't know, but if it is, there you go. That is a great example of the manufacturing prowess that we have held in the past that we don't really hold so much anymore. We farmed a lot of that out. I'm hoping that someday a lot of that stuff will come back. People need to eat here, right? And because we live in a society that we do, that requires money. And since, well, money kind of, sort of, ish, in a way, grows on trees, at least part of the money, because, it's a linen, cloth, paper conglomeration to turn it into what they call dollar bills here, but it takes money, right? And unfortunately, they're not just throwing it out the window or giving it away like they should be doing. They're holding on to it and keeping it away from us. So so I like to barter. And I want to get a really nice. I mean, I can't tell you what. That is so. That's way thinner than a human hair. I don't know what that is, but I want to get as pristine, or as clean. That's a better term. As clean a surface as I can to start with. I'm working with resin. So if I can do something about the amount of sanding that can come along with resin work, And I'm going to do that now. So this is, did it fall off? It's hard. It's really, really, really hard to see. This is just clumps of super fine, really, really super fine shavings. It's like thinner than threads, but the surface and left behind. I could do a shear scrape now. That was not a shear scrape. That was just a pull cut. That was like number 2 on the list of cuts you can do, right? Because there are basically 4 cuts. One moment. You have the push cut, what's called a push cut. You have what's called a pull cut. You have what's called a scrape, and you have what's called a shear scrape. And I'm looking at the camera, but the wrong camera is looking somewhere else and not at me. So 4 cuts, but only 3 shapes you can make at the lathe. There's only 3. There's a straight line, there's a curve, and then there's a V. Those are the only shapes you can make. The combination of those lines together gives you what you turn out on the lathe, right? So 4 different cuts, more or less, 3 different shapes, more or less. I say more or less, really, that's it. You can do a straight line, you can do a curve, and that's either a bead or a cove. It's a curve, and then V cuts. That's it. A straight cut into the side would be like a parting tool, right? That gives you that right angle at the end. It's still a straight cut. It just happens to have a curve, but or a straight line. Sorry, still cutting a straight line. So again, those 4 cuts. So, and the way I usually work the 4 cuts are push cut. I do it typically in this order. I'll start off with a push cut. I'll work to a pull cut, and then to a scrape, and then to a shear scrape. This was just pull cut. And I've got a really, really fantastic surface just off of that. I don't need to shear scrape now. I can bypass 2 hole cuts, I guess. Is that the right? Isn't that even the right term? I can bypass 2. Because I went from push cut to, well, I never went to, I went to push cut, went immediately to pull cut, and that's what I've been using, because I started off with push cut. I did a few push cuts, but the rest of it was all pull cuts. So I've been working pull cuts. I had 2 more cuts to go, the scrape and the shear scrape. Well, now I don't have to do either one. Always a plus. Always working on my tool handling skills. You work with sharp tools, and you work with the tool handling skills. Things just improve, and like I can take, I guess I could call this a shortcut. It's not really a shortcut, because I'm really, and I always do. I'll continue to work on my tool handling skills as much as I can. Age, whatever, I don't know, whatever's going to happen in the future, I don't know. I will continue to work on my tool handling skills. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there just for a second. I will pick it up here in just a moment. I'm assuming my brain is going to be working here any minute now. Yep, nope, any minute now. My brain is going to start working. Any minute now. Okay, back to, all right. So, you could call that a shortcut if you wanted. I guess kind of technically it is. I could still do the scrape. I could still do the shear scrape. And I would wind up with a better surface even than this. But this is right at the point where, like, if I take it, well, let's do that. I'm going to take a shear scrape. I'm going to do it right here in the resin. Well, let's find a happy medium here. Let's see. How about in this area where there's resin and wood? So I'm just going to do a shear scrape off the pull cut. I haven't done any scrape yet. And I'm using a really, really light touch. I'm not going anywhere near as, and not that I was going super hard, but I'm not going anywhere near as hard as I was with the pull cut, and you can see with the pull cut I was taking some really fine shavings. So I'm doing less pressure than that. And this is what I'm winding up with. Oh, wrong camera, sorry. This is what I'm winding up with. Now, that little ball in there, that little ball is a really, really, really long streamer of super fine shavings. Just all balled up in my flute. But if we look here now, there's not a ton of difference between here and here. Not a lot. So I can bypass that and go right to sanding. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily a shortcut, but it is, because I'm practicing. I've been practicing, and I'm still practicing my tool handling skills. I'm working with sharp tools. I'm working with only as fast as the tool can cut, etc., etc. So all these things that I'm keep harping on, that, you know, and it's a lot of pieces of the puzzle to put them together. It's taken me, I don't know what, since it's taken me what, 11 years to figure this out. Like, I'm slow, dude. I gotta be one of the slowest people on the planet. But learning that turning is mostly finesse has made a pretty good change, I think, in how I approach working on this stuff. I don't consider it a shortcut myself, because I've spent that time to get those tool handling skills to where they are now. And you know, my goal is to always improve them. So where they are now is not bad. I mean, that's just a pull cut, and I can go right to sanding from there. I could hit that with 220 right now, and I'm going to. Compared to this little area right here, it's just right in here. This little 1/2 inch is what I shear scraped. It's not much difference from here. There's not a whole lot of difference. So I guess I'm harping about this a lot, but it's like, that's the secret sauce to all of this. It's practice, 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 and more practice. Every piece that I put on the lathe, well, okay, I can't say that. I would love to say that every piece that I put on lathe is a practice piece, because I do actually come out here sometimes and say, okay, I need to make this, and I go for that, right? And I know what I'm going to make. It's something that I've done several times already. I just throw it on the lathe. If I'm doing production work, it's the same thing. But still, the practice part of that does not go away. It just never will. I want to improve myself. I have to do that. I got to get the proper instruction for things that I don't understand, things that I don't have any experience with, and then I'll practice that instruction. I will practice exactly what they've taught me. Whoever that person is, I'll practice that. But after I practice and get that down, that's when I start bringing in my body mechanics into it, and how I turn. So I take that knowledge to fit it to me. I turn like they do to get that done, and I still use those skills, but then I modify it to fit me. And that's what I really enjoy trying to help people do, other turners do. You got to modify those things to fit you, and that takes practice. But you got to get that instruction, sharp tools, the right equipment, safety equipment. And you can be here. Anybody can do this. I'm not special. I like to think I'm special, but I'm not special. Anybody can do it. Well, not anybody, but just about anybody. If a blind guy can turn this, you probably can too. You probably can do it. I can't remember his name. I would really like to meet this guy. There's a very famous, actually two of them, two well-known, not by me unfortunately, blind turners that I'd really like to talk to. I've listened to one on his process and how he goes through figuring out, how he turns things, because he can't see, but he turns some beautiful stuff. So I can't say, I can't do this because I've only got one leg. Yeah, right. I started turning sitting down because I couldn't stand. I couldn't stand for long periods.
Maybe I will catch the next strip.
Howdy, man. Yeah, I will be back. I will be back tomorrow night. Not done yet though. Yeah, practice, 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 practice. That's the secret sauce. There's no shortcuts there. But with that practice, you can create for yourself what are called shortcuts, like I've done here. So getting down to just a pull cut to that surface, I can sand now. I don't have to scrape. I don't have to shear scrape. I'm done. That's it. It hasn't taken me very long. And that's those are the things that I like to share. I like to teach. I like to actually be able to do. So let's measure this guy. See how much material we have. I've got basically 4.5 inches. I need to take this down a little bit so I can do that. I'll make it 4.5.
Values said, I thought that was your ending stream camera view.
Oh no, not yet. Not yet, man. I'm still going. Good to see you. How was your Happy New Year to everybody, by the way? I guess I forgot to mention that. It's now after the first of the year. It's a new calendar year. Happy new calendar year, I guess. But no, still working. I'm glad you made it, man. Good to see you. Happy New Year. All right, so they're saying that the people who created this are saying that they would like to see this box being 4 inches high. I can do whatever I want. But with these top and bottom plates, I'm looking at 4, 5 1/4-ish. I'm okay with that. Right? For what they're saying, 4 inches high plus 1/2 inch top plate, 1/2 inch bottom plate, that's 5 inches. Sounds good to me. So I'm going to mark out now. Let's see. I need to mark out where the box is going to be cut out of this. This is this is truly a practice piece. Like I said, I've never done this before. I just thought it would be fun to try to do this, create a kit, but throw everything that has anything to do with flat work out the window. Not do any flat work. Well, okay, I can't say that. If I have a rabbit in here as an inset for the tenon, technically I guess, but I'll be doing it on lathe, so I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this as flat work. So if this doesn't work out, then I have this over here. So, that tells me that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, maybe I should work on the whole piece and get the whole piece surface done, just in case this doesn't work out. Worst case scenario, or best case scenario, I have a whole blank here and that it's now ready, finish ready if I want it to be finish ready, or it will be, just like this guy. This is funny, man. Yeah, no, you might want to do that. Just saying. That way you don't have to try to do it later. Everything is in place right now. Everything's centered where it needs to be. It doesn't have to change that. I mean, does it get better? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm going to line up my tool rest with the ways here, using one of my magic eyes, neither of which actually work. And we'll go right back into pull cuts. So I'm going to move the handle for the banjo to the other side, so I'm not running into it with the handle of the tool. You know, this resin does kind of smell. I don't remember the name of it, but it smells kind of funky when you're turning it, man. I'll have to look at. It's one I just tried. Like, this is the first project that I've tried with this resin. It has an interesting odor. Okay, I don't like that. That's a bummer. What the heck is going on there? Why is it being... Oh. Damn, damn, damn. There goes that light. Right when I was needing it, too. No, 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 no. I don't know why you're doing that. It's got to be the bark inclusions, I'm thinking. Or it's the resin. Not getting a clean cut right in here. And I think it's these resin-filled voids in the bark inclusions. I'm getting bubbles, and that's giving me a weird cut. I guess that's another thing I could talk about too, is that pressure pots. I have one. It's not big enough for this piece. It's not big enough for any of the pieces that I turn. So I don't use it. Well, I've used it for smaller ornaments, but it's not a big pressure pot. But that's why I try different resins to see what they will or won't do. And I think I'm going to change to a sharp tool. A sharper tool. Let's see what that does. I'm running out of bowl gouges. But resin does wear down your tools pretty quickly. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins the world at his side, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Oh my God, lots of shavings. Lots of shavings. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, I think maybe one more pass. Actually, I want to take a straight edge here. Okay. And straight edge here. Okay. Cool. That works. So now the whole piece. So let's just do one more. pull cut because I think that I would really like to. You know what? Hold on a moment. I got this out of the tool. I mean, I could do a pull cut with this, but seriously, what the heck? So I'm just knocking the hard parts off, the high points. This is a really light touch. And it's not dust. Looks like dust, but that's a bunch of tiny, tiny, tiny shavings. Yeah. Ready to put abrasive. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I am going to try to lay out where I want the box. I'm pretty much going to end the broadcast after that point because I can't do anything else with this project. So I'll have to get some cutters tomorrow, or the blades for that cutter. So abrasive. What do I do with it? Oh yes, you're back here. And that is that. What are you? Nope, don't need that one. I cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, I should not have put that away. So I need my mask for this, especially. This is, man. This is resin, plastic. It's plastic. So I think I've got. I don't want to breathe any of this stuff in. Okie dokie. I don't feel like I need any kind of air for this. And I'm going right to the 220. A lot of dust. Interesting. Can actually see the seam of the secondary pour I was hoping that wouldn't be a thing. But that will be. Actually, I got to cut some of this down anyway, so a lot of that should be covered up. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that's really nice. I'm digging that. I got one spot. Well, the abrasive's not going to work when it's worn out, now is it? I don't think so. That made all the difference. So I'm working with resin. I don't have a lot of force against the piece with the abrasive because I don't want to melt the resin. Resin is like some wood. It doesn't like to be heated up during surface prep. But this is a very, very light touch. I'm just going across the surface. Enough pressure to keep this guy rotating, and that's it. There we are. All right, that's a surface I'm happy to work with. Okay, so now let's figure out where. Actually, I need to, let's grab this guy. Get rid of some of the dust since I'm wearing a mask. And yep, tool. That was it. Oh, I thought they were. Oh, I see what happened. I saw something flag, if you will, in a way that, like, white-tail flags when they're taken off. Something flagged when it looked like it was falling. It was this tool, but it hit the paper towel roll, causing that to flag. I thought it was something more and something bigger than just this tool. Move this guy back over to there. Okay. There we are. Let me get mask off. What did I do with the bag? There it is. Coleman. There we go. Okay, so this needs to be, I'm dealing with, so I can do a 1/4 inch. All right. I'm taking off a little bit off. Do I really need to? That is always the question. Do I really need to do that?
Ababius said, well, now I want a pouch for my mask.
What do you keep your mask in? Now, this is a RZ mask, so and they really actually work pretty nicely. I want to get one of the positive displacement masks. I will at some point. They're very spendy. But this RZ mask is nice, and yeah, I always want to store my mask in a bag or something, so that it doesn't sit around gathering dust and all that groovy shit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like the pattern on this. So if we say,
Ababius said, I stored mine wherever I left it last.
Gotcha. I had a mask like that. I realized that I was breathing dust in every time I tried to put the mask on. It's like, this is dumb. So I started keeping my new one in its bag when I'm not using it. I do need to take some off this surface, but I don't think I got to take a whole lot. Yeah, doggone it, this light. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this expensive piece of garbage. Oh my goodness. It'd be nice if the warranty was still active and all that stuff, but it's not. This is one of those fancy gooseneck lights with the big old magnet thing. This is giving me nothing but trouble. It is spent more time working incorrectly or not at all than it ever did working correctly. And it was like a $98 lamp, man. Oh well. Live and learn. I will not get another one of those ever again.
Ababius said, wow, so not a Harbor Freight unit.
No, I actually ordered it on Amazon, probably, most likely. I never gotten a lamp from Harbor Freight. You know, if they have them. I mean, I got to go there and get a new spout for one of my jerry cans, so I'll look. Okay. If I say, let's put this away. And let's toss up the short to a rest, which is over here. So now I can use the magic of the lathe to help me lay this out. All right, so first thing I'm going to say I'll shave a 1/4 inch off here. I don't need to, but I'm just going to say that. In the end, that's probably what will happen. From there, I need, according to the instructions over there, 4 inches worth of material to make the box, the body of the grinder. I want to inset a 1/4 of an inch. So since there's 2 of them, that means I need a 1/2 an inch. Now I am well past my useful. All right, so 4 inches is there. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches is there. So I have basically an inch to play with, to muck around with. If I'm going to do a 1/4 inch inset, then I will just use this as the 1/4 inch inset. So that pulls me back this way. So I need 4.5 inches to have a 1/4 inch inset here and a 1/4 inch on this side, the bottom, or top, however this works out. I'm pretty much thinking, though, that this is going to be the bottom because I need to pull the drawer out of somewhere in here. I don't need to, I want to, because matching these lines is going to be a bitch. Although, I got to say, you know what? I think I will do that. Because if I can pull that off, that's going to look just freaking awesome. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take the drawer out of here. Yeah. Well, and we'll have the drawer being partially resonated. Okay. Yeah, because that would look really, really neat, I think, to have that resin in there, especially when it's all polished up and you can see through it and all that groovy stuff. You'll see the wood in there. Yeah. All right, so 4.5 inches in total puts me here. So 4.5 inches from this side. Well, look at that. Puts me right in there. So if this gets boogered up, I'm in trouble. So I may. Oops, I lost my 4.5 inch line. There it is. Four and a half. So I could hollow this whole thing out, cut the drawer out of this part, which is probably the smarter thing to do. The grain won't line up as well, but I mean, it'll still look really cool. I could do it here and move this bit. No, it would take up some of that resin. So wherever I make it, the drawer from down here is going to have to go into, in my opinion, I'm just saying, it's going to have to go into the timber on the other side is where the drawer is going to have to be, because otherwise it would just mess all this up. If this was part of the drawer, like this little section here was part of the drawer cut out, then it would all match, right? The lines would match. I got to think about this one, man, because I really want to get the drawer out of this, but I may have to rethink it and carve the drawer out of this separately, like they do with a bandsaw. I don't know. Do they do that with a bandsaw box? Don't they just like they cut out the part? They maybe face the back or cut off the back and use that for, I don't know. It's something that I haven't really studied. Clearly, I have an idea, but I really need to look into it. But even if I could cut it out with that cutter, I think that would be really, really cool. I don't know if I can do that, but I think I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work on this piece, I've got this piece to go. So I'm going to cut it out of here, which means I'm going to cut it out of this right here. So my other 1/4 inch inset will be down here. That's about 1/4 inch. And so this is what will be exposed between the lines. Is all this. So the drawer, if I cut the drawer out of here. Here, let's draw a straight line, Dave. What? That's a straight line, Dave. There's another one. Isn't that wild? So that means that I would need to have it out here. So this box would be the drawer. If I can cut it out with that tool, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm pretty sure going through the burl, that tool is not going to have a problem. I don't know about the resin though. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. That's my plan. And let's see. I don't know if I may have. Oh, I can use a bit of that other piece as a test piece for the oscillating cutter before I ever put it into this guy down here. So I'll pick up those cutters tomorrow. And I get to play with bees tomorrow too. I will pick up the cutters tomorrow, and we'll continue this project tomorrow evening. Like I say, I'm planning on doing at least one of projects like this per month. Not necessarily a kit, but some bigger project. It just so happens to be this is a kit kind of project. I got all the hardware. I have to supply the wood. In this case, it's all been, or at least according to the plans, it's all flat work, carpentry, mitered corners, and square, flat. Some rounding of corners or rounding of edges with a router, but that's it. Well, I'm a wood turner, and by golly, I want to do it round. So I've got my top piece. Now this isn't round; it's oval because the bucket it was in at the top kind of ovaled out because of the amount of resin that was in this. But the oval is going to work out very well, I think, for this. So I don't care that it's oval; it's going to stay oval. I think that'll be really, really neat to have that. Yeah, I didn't want to make a square one, right? I mean, I bought it from.
How long do you have to wait for the resin to cure?
Oh, this resin. Let's see. This type of resin.
Said, "Hi, did I show up right near the end?"
I missed my wife. Hey, yeah, I saw that you signed up recently, or you started following recently. How's it going? Yeah, right near the end. But I will be continuing this project tomorrow evening from 8 to 11. I might even start a little bit early, possibly. I was thinking about starting earlier today, but that didn't happen. I instead started late. It's just how it worked out. Well, I mean, I didn't start late, but I didn't start the broadcast late, but having everything prepared took me time. Anyway,
said, "Oh darn."
Anyway, what I'm working on is a grinder, a kit that I got from was it PS? No, it's not PSI. We're Penn State Industries, right? So this is what they have for the plans, and I'm trying to get the frickin' glare off of it. Oh, you know what? Here, duh. Here we go. Not so much glare. Look at that. So it's all flat, 7x7 by ½ inch. It's all flat work. And I got this kit. I'm a smartass. I got this kit from a wood turning supply company. Why am I making it square? I don't want to make it square. I want to make it round.
My wife, 64, said, "I love watching people woodwork, so your streams really interest me."
Very, very cool. Do you do any woodworking yourself? I also find watching other woodworkers a guilty pleasure, but I also like to watch some of the YouTube scientists. There's one guy I can't remember, Neil. He's a YouTuber.
My wife, 64,
amazing stuff.
Said, "I tried, but it's not all that good."
Everybody's got to start somewhere. I mean, as far as carpentry goes, I know my way around a saw, like a handsaw. I can hammer nails. I can get square corners. I haven't really built a house or anything. I mean, I don't really know how. I mean, I have an idea. I mean, I've framed things, but you know,
I miss my wife,
everybody starts.
64.
When I've been
Say,
doing
I
this,
can make little wooden cars.
nice. Ah, dude, nice. Nice. Actually, I've done a bunch of those too, but that was when I was a scout leader and my youngest boy was in scouts and we did a lot of Pinewood Derby. There. Anyway, it's probably not the same thing. Your stuff is probably way cooler. It was just Pinewood Derby, man. Well, I say that, but we I don't know. I tried to make it as fun as possible, and every single Pinewood Derby car that I made, that I entered as a leader, I guess, uh, was the wackiest, craziest one that I could come up with. My very, very first Pinewood Derby was a
I miss my wife,
1965
64.
Ford.
Say, what's a Pinewood Derby car?
It's Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. It's a competition it's not just a competition. The competition is the culmination, really. But the idea is that the boys scouts are taken by the hand and shown how to use, carpentry tools, hammer, saw, whatever, files, whatever. And in this case, they make a little race car out of a block of wood. It's all standard size, right? Every single car has to start off with the same block of wood. The wheels and different competitions require different wheels, but typical scouting, standard scouting races were the wheels that come standard with the kit. That was what you used. And then the boy builds the car in practice. Often it's the parents that build
Bad
the
news.
car, and
Say,
the boy
I still
gets
have mine
the
car somewhere.
credit. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I used to have mine. I think I gave them all. Oh, I gave them all to my youngest boy. Uh, he eagled out, which was really cool. Not because of me, but anyway, he eagled out. But I gave him all the Pinewood Derby cars. So the very first Pinewood Derby car I made was a 1965 Ford F-150 pickup. Yes, I used the kit. I used the wheels, all of it. Everything was the same. I had to add a little bit of lead for. I
I
made
miss
the
my wife,
tailgate.
64. Say, super
Yeah,
cool.
it was painted metallic blue. The second Pinewood Derby car, which one was it? The second one was the USS Enterprise, and I used the same block of wood that everybody else used, but I melted the nacelles I made out of lead. And I used to shoot black powder, so I had lead molds, and so I would melt lead and then create these nacelles. And that was not only the weight for the car, but it was the USS Enterprise. And since the ship wound up being thicker than the wood block, right? I just added. What did I add? No. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was popsicle sticks. I can't remember how exactly I attached the nacelles. I think it was popsicle sticks. And then painted it to be the USS Enterprise. That was my second one. My third one was a dude on a surfboard with a wave coming up over the surfboard. I wish I had pictures of these. I just went nuts, man. I was like, this is supposed to be fun. This is not, a lot of the adults were turning it into this super uber competition, and that's okay if that's what you're doing, if you're going to circuit, and there was a circuit, right, or there is a circuit, if you're making a circuit to get your bragging rights and whatever, right? But for me, it was all about getting the kids' hands dirty, getting them to build a car. It didn't matter how well it did. We did everything we can with each car. And there's little tips and tricks, polishing the axles. I mean, there's little tips and tricks for Pinewood Derby, right? But for every single boy in the pack that I was a leader in, every single boy who was interested, we didn't force anybody, but every single boy who was interested got all of those little bits and tips and tricks and stuff, and we helped them out, right? So polishing the axles of the Pinewood Derby cars are little nails, so you polish the nail, right? And the wheel will spin better, just little tips and tricks. But anyway, my whole idea was like, this was supposed to be like the whole thing was supposed to be a creative endeavor, right? They give you a kit. It's got 4 wheels, 4 nails, and a block of wood. you have to do something with that to turn it into a car. That's just one of the things in scouting. But, for me, it was like, hey, this is a great time to be creative. Why don't we do that? And nobody was really understanding what I was talking about until I came out with that 1965 Ford. And they went, oh, now we get it. And then, they had some kids are doing some things, but in general, most people
I met
didn't.
my wife, 64, said, I did something like that in Girl Scouts, but we had to make them big enough to ride in.
Oh, wow. We had, when we did in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, that's cool. When we were when I lived in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, we were in, I forget what the pack number is, but also I forget what the troop number is when my son was a scout. But that was part of our annual Pinewood Derby race. We got together with other packs around. The Cub Scouts races against Cub Scouts, and the Boy Scouts raced against Boy Scouts. We didn't cross the two because of the experience level, right? It would have made it not as fair for the younger boys. So on the day of that race in town, they cleared out on the main street. It was a big hill. And they would have people come out and do Pinewood Derby. Like, you had to ride in this car. They had to be a specific dimensions. They weren't really focused on what it was made out of. They had suggestions and all that stuff, but it had to be certain dimensions. It had to fit two people, had to this, that, and the other, right? And then they would race for speed down this hill into a bunch of pile of hay bales. So that's cool, man. That's cool that you did that. That's I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but that's cool that you made them big enough to ride in. That's really neat. We didn't do that. There were other people that came out with cars like that. And there were a couple of overachieving scout dads who may have had one or two of those, but in general, it was like professional. I don't know what they call those races. Boxcar racing. What do they call those? What is that? Milk crate racing or something like that. It used to be. I can't. I think it's called milk crate racing. You make whatever it is. Now, the milk crate has to be part of whatever it is you're making, like the old wooden milk crates. So anyway, I can't remember what they call it, but I think that's really, really, really cool. Yeah. I would love to be able to see
I
that
met my
sometime.
wife, 64, said, I have no idea. We just called it go-kart
Go-karting.
racing.
Yeah, very cool. Oh wait, yeah, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, we did have a go-kart thing, but again, it was scout sponsored and had to be specific dimensions.
Soapbox cars.
Yeah, that's the word. Soapbox. Yeah, soapbox derby. Yes. Thank you. I couldn't remember it. Soapbox derby. That's it. So yeah, we had the soapbox derby too. But again, everything had to be, especially for scouts, really super safe and really stringent on what the dimensions and everything had to be, because these boys were riding these things downhill by themselves. Right? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think I'm going to wrap it up this evening.
Safe equals boring.
Amen. But I only say that because I'm a guy. I don't know if women say that much, but safe is kind of boring. Although I do have to say that the older I get, the more I think.
I miss my wife, 64, said, I say it all.
I think more than once about some things now that I'm getting older. Well, at least, I should say I think at least once. When I was younger, there were many times I didn't think at all. I just did it. And then you pay the consequences later, whatever those consequences are. And when you're young, you don't think there are any. And when you get older, you go, oh, yeah, that little twitch, that was in 1983 when I took my bike down. You know what I mean? I didn't know it then, but yeah, I'm carrying that around. Anyway. I want to say Happy New Year again. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the first stream for the year for me. Tomorrow night will be the second. I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this project. We've got the top and bottom plates roughed
I miss
out.
my wife, 64, said, "Okay, good night, Mr. Rife. Have a great night."
Thank you. You as well. I hope to see you tomorrow evening. So we got the top plate, bottom plate, and we got the body of the box. We got to figure out what we're going to do with the drawer. So I got to get those cutting those blades for that thing. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow night. So I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening. Great chatting with you all. It's a really good time. I hope you all stay friendly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. And if you can't make it tomorrow night, I'll be back again next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And in fact, every week, Tuesday and Wednesday, that I can get away with it, I'm going to be here from 8 to 11. So please join me. Thanks again, folks, for all your support. I appreciate it. I hope you take care. See you tomorrow night.